Chapter 14, Let's Get This Show on the Road, Part 1. Chase lied in his pup house while wearing his nice clothes, and waited for Ryder to tell them all that it was time to go. If he thought he was nervous earlier, then he was absolutely petrified now. As the clock ticked closer to 6 o'clock, the more he dreaded going to the party. If it weren't for the other pups, there was no way he was going to do this. As he felt a drop of sweat drip down the back of his neck, he heard a knock on his door, slightly startling him. "Come in," he called out. Hey, Chase." Marshall opened his door. The Dally could instantly see the worried look in Chase's eyes. Before the German Shepherd could greet him back, he began speaking again. "Listen, I know you're nervous for tonight. I can see it on your face, and that's okay. It's okay to be a little nervous, especially in this sort of situation. But I'm telling you, there is nothing to worry about. You are a handsome, brave, and polite pup. Most importantly, you're a leader. Sky would be lucky to have you dance with her, and I highly doubt she would reject you." Marshall comforted Chase. Chase smiled at his best friend's compliment. He needed all the encouragement he could get at the moment. "And besides," Marshall continued, "it's just dancing. Nothing too extreme. Just you two gently swaying back and forth, holding each other in your arms." 5. Chase imagined this and grinned at the thought of him and Sky dancing. Marshall was right, it's just dancing, he could do this. "You know, Marshall, you're right. It is just dancing. I think it will be nice." Chase said, fantasizing it in his head again. "I sure am lucky to have a friend like you." "We're brothers, Chase. And we always will be, forever," Marshall said, putting his paw on the shepherd's back. "All right, pups. Time to go," Ryder hollered from the entrance of the lookout. Chase's eyes widened. "Just relax, Chase," said Marshall. "You're ready for this." He took a deep breath and calmed himself down. "I'm ready," he declared confidently. "All right, good, now let's go." Chase walked out of his pup house alongside Marshall and met up with the other guy pups, who were all excited to go to the party. Meanwhile, Sky and Everest were just leaving the bathroom after hearing Ryder's call. Everest started out the bathroom door, but realized Sky wasn't with her. She turned around to see the kakapo staring blankly at herself in the mirror. "You coming, Sky?" Everest asked. What if this was all for nothing? She began to worry. What if Chase doesn't notice me? What if he has feelings for another pup? I mean, why would he like me anyways? Everest walked right back up to Sky and turned her head so that she was staring straight into the husky's teal eyes. "You listen here, Sky," Everest ordered her. "You look absolutely amazing tonight, and nobody can say otherwise. Chase is going to look at you tonight in amazement at how stunning you are. Do not doubt yourself now, Sky. Not after how much we prepared. Just be yourself, and I have no doubt that Chase will fall for you. You have nothing to worry about." Sky listened and comprehended what Everest had said. It was pretty convincing, and although Sky was still a bit unsure of whether anything would actually happen tonight, she took Everest's advice and tried not to worry about the situation anymore. She would just have to wait and see. Sky looked up and smiled. "Thanks, Ev. If you are at all feeling upset or worried tonight, you can come right to me," Everest comforted her. "Girls, time to go. We don't want to be late," Ryder called up to them. "Coming," they both shouted to him. The two pups went and sat in the elevator, looking through the glass as it descended. All the guys were already in their vehicles ready to go. Sky had her eyes locked on Chase. The light blue shirt and khakis looked outstanding on him. The rolled-up sleeves really defined his muscles, His fur was brushed and combed to perfection, and he just looked so good. This made Sky think of him and his cute personality, and how he would go from laughing, or having fun, to an instant straight face, full of seriousness. She thought about yesterday when she started tickling him and how cute he was when he was laughing uncontrollably. She thought about how competitive he gets with her, and how worried he got when he thought he had hurt her with the frisbee. All of these thoughts made Sky whimper. 1. Everything okay? Everest looked concerned. I was just thinking, and I'm only just realizing how much Chase means to me. I don't just like him, I think I love him. Sky admitted, I just want to be with him forever. 2. Everest placed a paw on her back. Don't worry, Sky, we have until midnight, she assured her love-struck friend, and the night is young. Chapter 15, Let's Get This Show on the Road, Part 2. The guy pups were waiting outside the lookout in their vehicles while Ryder went to get his ATV from the garage, patiently awaiting the girl pups. They were all in a circle, anticipating how things were going to go tonight. So Chase, how are you feeling? Rocky asked the German Shepherd. Well, I guess you could say I'm nervous, but I'm red. Chase was cut short when heard the glass doors slide open and looked over to see Sky and Everest walk out. He was speechless. Absolutely love-struck. He stared at Sky, from head to tail, taking in how stunning she looked. From her sparkling pink nails and eyes, to the pure beauty of Sky herself, Chase was struggling to hold in his emotions. 3. He almost jumped when Sky looked his way, catching him completely off guard. He played it off though, and smiled and waved as if he weren't staring, which Sky responded to by waving and smiling as well. After they broke eye contact, Chase whimpered just like Sky did earlier, admiring how amazing she looked. All the guys noticed and knew why too. You got this, Chase, we believe in you. Zuma said, smiling at the German Shepherd, followed by agreement from the other pups trying to give him confidence. She's just so perfect. Chase spoke softly. Beep. Beep. Ready to go, pups? Ryder called, getting their attention by honking the horn on his ATV. You bet. Everest replied, who's ready for an amazing night? Me, most of the other pups replied, besides Chase and Sky, who just prayed the night would be as amazing as they hoped it to be. Ryder led the gang to City Hall. Along the way, the pups were talking about what would be there and all the fun they were going to have. When they arrived, they gazed upon City Hall and how pretty it looked. There were large banners, colorful balloons, and bright lights coming from inside. It really was a sight to see. When the team walked in, they recognized all of their friends. Mr. Porter and Alex were there, Farmer Yumi and Farmer Al, Katie and Callie, and even Mayor Humdinger was there. They were all as excited to see their friends as much as they were excited to see the Paw Patrol. They were the last ones to arrive, so the party could finally start. Mayor Goodway silenced everyone by speaking into the microphone. Attention! Attention! Quiet down! She announced, now that everyone has arrived, it is time for the Adventure Bay anniversary party to begin. Everyone in the hall roared and cheered, excited to get the party started. Now everyone, take your seats. When everyone is settled, we will begin with some honorable mentions of contributive citizens in our Adventure Bay community. Mayor Goodway informed everyone. The crowd started shifting around as people went to look for their designated seat. Ryder was seated at a table with Katie, Callie, Alex, and Carlos. Close by them was a small table set out for all the pups. The five guy pups all low-key rushed to their table and sat down before Chase and Sky could get there, forcing the two to sit next to each other and hopefully giving them time to bond. Hayes realized that this was set up, but he expected them to do things like this throughout the night anyway. His friends had gotten far in trying to make him express his feelings towards Sky, and they weren't going to stop pushing him until he told the cockapoo everything. As the pups sat down, they started having conversations with each other, thinking of who was going to be awarded in a few moments, and certain songs they want the DJ to play, etc. Chase and Sky weren't really in on the conversation because they were too busy thinking about each other. Chase had already seen how beautiful Sky looked, but by sitting next to her he got a whiff of how good she smelled from Katie's perfume. Plus, "You smell nice, new perfume?" Chase asked the cockapoo, who turned and smiled at the sound of his voice. "Thanks, Chase, and yeah, it was from Katie's," she giggled, flattered by his comment. "You don't smell too bad yourself," she said, leaning towards him and smelling the cologne he got from Katie's. 4. "Heh, thanks, I got it from Katie's too," he blushed, accepting the compliment. Although the rest of the pups were mid-conversation, they all noticed the two pups compliment each other, which brought joy to their faces. Everest nudged Sky and winked at her, while the rest of the guys grinned at Chase. He gestured for them to stop before Sky would notice and get suspicious, and they complied. They went back into their conversations only to be interrupted again, but this time by Mayor Goodway. "Attention everyone," she announced over the loudspeaker. "Now that everybody is settled, it is my pleasure to present to you this year's Adventure Bay Contributive Citizens Award." Her announcement was followed by loud cheers coming from the tables. "This award goes to citizens of Adventure Bay that have shown great character and helped Adventure Bay become a better place," Mayor Goodway explained. "Some honorable mentions are Farmer Yumi and Farmer Al for their outstanding production of agriculture, Mr. Porter for his outstanding delivery service, and Captain Turbot for maintaining the marine wildlife of Adventure Bay." Applause filled the room for the honorable mentions. Everyone showed their appreciation for the work that they do to maintain Adventure Bay's fantastic reputation. But they were more excited to see who the actual winner would be. And the winner of this year's Contributive Citizens Award goes to... Mayor Goodway hesitated to create some suspense, Ryder and the Paw Patrol. 4. The pups gasped and were filled with joy hearing that they had won an award. Cheers and applause broke out for the team as Ryder led his pups up to the podium to accept their award. Mayor Goodway gave Ryder the plaque, shaking his hand, and was assaulted with licks from the pups. "What good pups!" she laughed as they walked back to their seats. "All right, everyone. Now that the award is out of the way, Mr. Porter will be coming around shortly to serve pizza. Once dinner is finished, there will be a dessert buffet for all of you to pick and choose what you want. Until then, you may carry on with your small talk." Mayor Goodway notified them, pleased with how well everything was working out. "Oh boy! A dessert buffet," Rubble said, rubbing his belly. "Tonight is going to be a good night." Marshall licked his lips. "Well, I'm excited for the dancing," Zuma declared, winking at Rocky. "Me too," Rocky smirked, realizing where Zuma was going with this. "Aren't you excited, Chase?" 2. Chase glared at Rocky, clearly not impressed that he was trying to center him out and embarrass him in front of Sky. So instead of letting that happen, he played it off. "You bet, I've been working on my moves from Pup Boogie. I'm even better at them than Sky," he said, smirking at the cockapoo who was sitting next to him. "Ha! You'll be eating my dust out there on the dance floor." She rolled her eyes. "Guess we'll have to wait and see, huh?" Chase playfully challenged her. "I guess we will." Sky accepted the challenge. At this time, Mr. Porter came to the pups' table with their pizza ready. He placed it in the middle and examined it to make sure it was how the pups liked it. 3/4 pepperoni and 1/4 liver for Marshall and Everest. Mr. Porter reread the order. You got it. Everest said satisfied. Thank you, Mr. Porter. No problem, Pups. He chuckled. If you need anything, just let me know. Will do. Rocky assured him. The pups peacefully ate their dinner, enjoying each other's company on this fun night. Before they knew it, the pizza was already gone and the pups were full, however, always leaving a bit of room for dessert. About 10 minutes later, Mayor Goodway announced that the dessert buffet was open, causing Rubble and Marshall to dash up there once she finished talking, grabbing everything they could. The other pups decided to wait a bit for the crowds to fade. Moments later, Marshall and Rubble came walking back, with their dessert plates filled to the absolute max. Ice cream, cake, cookies, you name it, and it was on there. 3. So did you decide to bring the whole table? Rocky exaggerated. Haha, very funny. Marshall rolled his eyes. Are you sure you guys can eat all of that? You might have an upset stomach later tonight. Sky warned them. The Dalmatian and Bulldog shrugged Sky's comment off and began gobbling down on all the treats they had. Chase looked over at the table with the desserts to see how many people were still there. To his surprise, the crowds actually died down a bit. Should we make our way to the dessert table? He suggested. Zuma looked over towards the table and agreed, yeah, we should. Good eye, Chase. The pups, excluding Marshall and Rubble, made their way over to where all the treats were. Chase happened to be walking next to Sky, so Everest put her arm out in front of Rocky and Zuma, causing them to slow down and allow the other two to walk ahead, alone. At first, Zuma and Rocky gave a bemused look at Everest, but then realized the reasoning and complimented her on her idea. Smart thinking, said Rocky, followed by a wink from Everest. Up ahead, Sky and Chase were chatting, and didn't really realize the other three had left them to be alone. They both enjoyed conversing about little things as they picked a few treats from the dessert table. Just each other's company was satisfying the both of them and causing them to have a good time so far. They made it back to the table with only 1/4 of the things on their plate compared to what both Rubble and Marshall had. Shortly after, Rocky, Zuma, and Everest returned as well. Plus, what took you guys so long? Chase wondered. Oh, you know. We just took our time. Zuma thought of an excuse, but also winked at the German Shepherd, hoping he'd understand. Chase subtly nodded in response and mouthed, thanks. While eating their desserts, all the pups talked and laughed with each other about different things that had happened over the years of the Paw Patrol. It was the first time the pups had actually got to sit down and talk about things with each other. They were always missions, and whenever they weren't, they'd mostly play games or watch TV rather than sit down and talk. It was a nice change for the pups, and they really enjoyed it. Hey, Chase, remember when you lost your tooth for the first time? Then the next morning, when the tooth fairy gave you that bone, you instantly lost another one by biting down on it. Marshall laughed at the funny story along with his friends. 1. Oh yeah. That was actually really funny. Chase recalled, laughing at what had happened. Don't forget that time Rubble dreamt dinosaurs attacked Adventure Bay, and woke up thinking it actually happened. Rocky laughed. Hey, that dream was very realistic. Rubble chuckled, defending himself. Just like that dream where Alex was a giant, right? Zuma joked, earning laughs from the pups. 1. Okay, we get it. I have a wild imagination. Rubble concluded. Remember that time when Ryder called us, and we got into the elevator, only for Marshall to plow us over like bowling pins? Sky reminded them. Oh wait, that happens every mission. Rubble teased the Dalmatian. What can I say? I'm a klutz. Marshall laughed along with his friends. The conversation carried out for a bit longer when Mayor Goodway went back up to the podium and began to speak. All right, people. Settle down. Mayor Goodway pleaded, waiting for the hall to go silent. It has reached 8 o'clock, which means our dance competition can start. Cheers and hollers came from the audience, as many were eager to finally begin the fun part of the night, dancing. Chapter 16, Dance-Off. The pups patiently sat and waited for the mayor to commence the competition. The dance competition will be about an hour long, and then afterwards we will have a DJ play songs for anyone to dance to until the party is over. Mayor Goodway announced, now, this dance competition will be in pairs. You and your partner will have dance-offs against each other until there are only 2 teams left in the competition. They will have a final round and determine the winner. You can all decide partners amongst yourselves now. Those who will participate can meet on the dance floor while the rest can watch. Let's get this show on the road. The sound of chattering filled the room as people looked for partners to compete with. Chase was about to ask Marshall when an idea came to mind. Instead, he turned to Sky. Hey, Sky? Chase got her attention. Yeah, Chase? What's up? She asked. I know we're used to always competing against each other to find out who is the best, and that's fun and all, but both of us are really good at dancing. And what's the point of 2 really talented pups competing against each other when they have the opportunity to compete with each other? Chase proposed. You think we should be a team? Sky asked with a little excitement in her voice. Plus. Yeah. Chase said, wagging his tail, that is, if you want to. Sky was delighted for 2 reasons. 1, Chase did have a point. Together they'd be an outstanding team, and could possibly even win. 2, she could spend time doing her favorite thing, with her favorite pup. Of course I do. She responded, let's win this thing. The 2 pups made their way up to the dance floor together. Marshall and Zuma, who had also teamed up to enter the competition, followed them up there shortly after. Wow, we didn't even have to do anything this time. Rocky chuckled, watching Chase and Sky from the table. They're so cute together. I hope this gets things going. Everest hoped, thinking of how cute it would be if Chase would confess his feelings to her. Plus. Only time will tell. Rubble sighed. The teams reached the dance floor and were ready to begin. There were 8 teams. Captain Turbot and Francois, Alex and Mr. Porter, Ryder and Katie, Mayor Goodway's niece and nephew, Farmer Al and Farmer Yumi, Marshall and Rubble, Chase and Sky, and ironically, the 2 mayors. 1. Is everyone here? Does everybody have a partner? Mayor Goodway double-checked. Resounding yes were heard from the teams. Alrighty then. Each team will be paired up with another team to dance off against each other. The team with the least applause will be considered the loser, and will be eliminated. Mayor Goodway explained, now, without further ado, let's get this party started. 3. The first matchup was Ryder and Katie versus Captain Turbot and his French cousin, Francois. The music started and they were underway. Ryder and Katie were best friends, so they had excellent chemistry and were a great team. Francois was an amazing dancer, as he is pretty talented in all aspects, but his cousin wasn't as good and was letting him down. Pick up the pace, mon ami. You are making us lose. Francois ordered. Sorry. Captain Turbot apologized, while struggling to keep up with his cousin's moves. The round was soon over and Katie and Ryder were determined the winners, earning loud cheers from all of the pups. Francois simply frowned at his cousin and sat back down at his table, angry they had not won. Mayor Goodway's niece and nephew, Julia and Julius, were then put up against Alex and Mr. Porter. When the music started, Julia and Julius stole the show. They were too much for Alex and poor old Mr. Porter to handle. About halfway through, there was a loud crack, followed by a cry from Mr. Porter. "Ah! My back!" he cried. 1. Ryder and Katie ran over to see if he was okay as the music stopped. "Mr. Porter, are you okay?" Ryder asked, looking concerned. "Oh, I'm sure it's nothing, Ryder," he assured Ryder, but clearly still in some pain. "Marshall, X-ray," Ryder ordered. "Rough. X-ray," Marshall commanded as he ran over to the injured Mr. Porter. He analyzed his back and concluded nothing was broken. It was probably sore due to his older age and trying to pull off all those dance moves. "Here, let me help you sit down," Ryder offered, taking Mr. Porter to his seat. "Unfortunately, folks, Mr. Porter has sustained an injury and therefore cannot compete in the dance competition anymore," Mayor Goodway announced. "Therefore, Julia and Julius will automatically progress to the next round." People cheered for the two young children as the next dance-off was about to begin. It was the two farmers up against the two pups from the Paw Patrol, Marshall and Zuma. The music went on. The Marshall and Zuma busted out some exquisite break-dancing moves, earning some loud cheers. That was their specialty. Meanwhile, the two married farmers were throwing it back with some old-school moves which also earned some cheers. Unfortunately, it was no match for Zuma and Marshall, who made it to the next round. "All right. The last match up before round 2 will be myself with Mayor Humdinger." She paused and waved to the cheering crowd along with her teammate, and Chase with Sky from the Paw Patrol. 1. The crowd cheered, with extra loud hollers coming from the Pups and Ryder and Katie. The DJ started up the music, and Chase and Sky worked their magic. Their moves were synced, perfectly timed, and overall amazing. On the other hand, the two mayors who were used to being rivals didn't have much chemistry, and were clearly falling behind the two pups. When the song had finished and the winner was clear, Mayor Humdinger crossed his arms and stomped off the stage. "Stupid mutts," he muttered, "who cares about dancing anyway?" After he sat down, his partner picked up the microphone and began speaking again. "Well done to the pups who have progressed to the semi-finals." The mayor congratulated them. "Let round 2 begin. Marshall and Zuma, Julia and Julius, you're up." The other two teams wished Marshall and Zuma luck, clearly biased toward their Paw Patrol teammates. They watched as the two teams began to dance. Julia and Julius took a different approach from the last time. Rather than performing the same moves at the same time, they interacted with each other more, making an outstanding performance. Unfortunately, Marshall and Zuma only had their break-dancing moves to rely on, which didn't get as much applause as the last time. To make matters worse, when trying to do their tailspin, Marshall ended up slamming into Zuma and basically confirmed the loss. And the first team in the final is going to be Julius and Julia. Let's hear it for them. Mayor Goodway clapped, along with loud roars and cheers from the audience. Marshall walked off the stage next to Zuma with his head down. "Sorry, Zuma, it's my fault." "Don't be silly, Marshall. Julia and Julius were just too good for us. Besides, didn't you have fun?" Zuma comforted his teammate. "Yeah, I guess I did have a lot of fun dancing," Marshall realized. "That's the spirit." Zuma patted his friend on the back. "Now let's go watch Chase, Sky, Ryder, and Katie." After everybody settled down, Mayor Goodway grabbed the microphone again. Now it's time for Ryder, along with Katie, to take on his own pups, Chase and Sky. Mayor Goodway revealed. Plus. This statement caused excitement in the crowd. They were all intrigued to see an owner versus pups dance-off battle. Chase and Sky shook paws with Ryder and Katie as they both wished each other good luck and got into position. When the DJ started the song, Sky and Chase's ears perked and they looked at each other. It was an exact song from their game Pup Pup Boogie 2, which they had all the high scores for. They gave each other a smile and a little nod as they began the dance they knew off by heart from the game. It was quite a show from the two pups. Ryder and Katie were doing very well also, but it just wasn't enough to beat their opponents. Chase and Sky finished off the dance in style as cheers and applause filled the hall. And it is going to be Chase and Sky who take on Julius and Julia in the final of this year's dance-off. Mayor Goodway confirmed, "We will take a 5-minute break before the final dance-off will take place." As the four competitors walked off of the dance floor, Ryder and Katie congratulated the pups. "Good job, guys. You killed it out there." Katie complimented them. "Yeah, we were no match for you guys." Ryder congratulated his pups. "Thanks, but you guys did really well out there too." Sky gave them some encouragement. "Yeah, you deserve to be in the finals too." Chase added. "Aw, thanks pups. Good luck in the final." Katie said. "Thank you," replied Sky and Chase, as the two teams parted ways. Zuma and Marshall found the two finalists and waked up to them. "Nice job, dudes," congratulated Zuma. "Yeah, you two should work together more often," Marshall said, secretly winking at Chase. Plus. They thanked them along with a glare from Chase, telling Marshall to stop. "Be careful though," Zuma warned them. "Julia and Julius are really good. But you guys can beat them, we believe in you." Marshall added some encouragement. "We'll try our best," Chase assured them. They all walked back to their table so they could relax for a few minutes and were congratulated by the three pups who weren't competing in the dance-off. Within no time, Mayor Goodway had called the finalists back onto the stage for the final to begin. The pups wished Chase and Sky good luck as they made their way to the dance floor. "All right, pups and children. You know the drill, the most applause is the winner. On your mark, get set, dance." Mayor Goodway roared. The music began and the dancers were underway. The two best teams in the competition were going head-to-head with their moves and it was going to be a close one. Julia and Julius were at a flying start, performing the robot and the worm. Chase and Sky responded with the moonwalk and tailspin. They were both more successful than Marshall's attempt. The song was nearing the end, and the teams were neck and neck. Whilst doing their dance moves, Sky whispered over to Chase. "We need to finish strongly," she said. "I know, but how?" the German Shepherd inquired. An idea popped up inside the cockapoo's head. "Let's backflip," she suggested. "Backflip? I can't. I don't know." Chase was interrupted. "Don't think, Chase, just do it. I believe in you," Sky encouraged him. The song came at its final beat. There was no time to think, he had to flip with Sky right now. The German Shepherd closed his eyes and jumped in the air at the same time as Sky. Their bodies soared backwards, head over heels. The final beat of the song timed up perfectly with their paws landing on the ground. Chase opened his eyes to a huge crowd screaming in front of him. He couldn't believe he actually had just done a backflip. "I knew you could do it." Sky giggled. "I guess you were right." Chase giggled back. The dancers bowed as the cheering started to settle down. Mayor Goodway walked up, in between the two teams. Once it was silent, she began to speak. "First of all, Dee liked to thank all of the contestants who participated in the dance-off tonight. All of you were truly amazing, she said, followed by some cheers. Unfortunately, we could only have one winner tonight, and that will be revealed right now. The winner of tonight's dance-off competition is... Silence filled the room as Mayor Goodway paused to make it as dramatic as possible. All eyes were on the mayor, waiting for her to announce the winner. Chase and Sky, the mayor announced.
Woohoo! Let's do this! Woohoo! Woohoo! Let's do the final moments until we end the stream. Let's hear.
Announced. 4. Cheers broke out in the crowds, the loudest being from the Pups and Ryder and Katie. Mayor Goodway put gold medals around the Pups' necks, declaring them the winners. Chase and Sky looked at each other in excitement. Looks like we do work well as a team, concluded Chase. Yeah, Ryder should pair us up together more often when we're on missions, Sky proposed. Heh, yeah, Chase said, thinking of how nice that would be, for other reasons. 3. The rest of their Paw Patrol teammates ran on stage to go congratulate them. Chase and Sky were overwhelmed with compliments as Ryder and Katie picked them both up and hugged them. Thanks, guys. We couldn't have done it without your encouragement, Chase thanked them. Yeah, Sky agreed, we all deserve these medals. Ryder and Katie put the Pups down where they received hugs from their canine friends. They made their way back to the table so they all could rest a bit after the excitement from the final. It was almost 9 o'clock, which was the cue for the actual dancing to start. Chase and Sky took this time to go and put their medals in their vehicles so they wouldn't get in the way. Plus, they both walked outside and jumped up into their rigs. Chase put his safely in a compartment, and then looked over to Sky, who was atop her vehicle, finding a place to store her medal. Chase was going through the same rush of emotions he went through earlier when he first saw Sky all dressed up. She's just so beautiful, he said in his mind. He hopped down and waited patiently for Sky to come down so they could go back inside. This was it. The actual dancing was starting, and he was going to not only ask Sky to dance, but he was also going to confess his feelings to her. He really didn't want to, but he couldn't let down his friends who were expecting him to do so. Besides, maybe they were right. Maybe this could be the best for him. Sky hopped down from her rig and walked back inside with Chase, admiring how nice he looked. When the two sat down, Mayor Goodway came on the loudspeaker again. All right, everyone. This will be that last time you hear from me tonight, she informed everybody. Our DJ will be playing songs for the rest of the night for you guys to dance to with no further interruptions. Thank you all for coming, and have a wonderful night. With that, music started playing and people made their way to the dance floor. Everest grabbed Sky and brought her up and started to dance. With the two girls gone for now, Rocky spoke to Chase in front of the rest of the Pups. This is it, Chase, warned Rocky. When that DJ plays a slow song, that's your cue. Chase paused and sighed, not looking forward to doing this. It'll be fine, dude, we have faith in you, the chocolate lab comforted him. I hope so. Chase gulped. This was going to be really difficult for him, and he knew it.
Woohoo! Welcome back, guys. Here I am back. Wow, these 3 parts were great parts. What we heard on this today's continuing story of the Pups with a night to remember, or a night to remember. Story by Andymy1gamer. We are done for today, guys. For me, it's done today. Thanks for everyone who joined on the other story of the Chase and Marshall on case. And thanks to everyone who joined to the second stream. For me today, my name is Super Chase Movie Official, and hopefully I see you next time again for more awesome stories. Until then, guys, have a nice day and stay awesome with the Paw Patrol and Super Chase Movie Official. And I'm signing off for today. Goodbye.